What's up, everyone? Welcome to Miami Dance Movement. My name is Sonja La Máquina, and this is episode number 1. Cue the applause. All right, next to me, we have the amazing Sikaida representing Miami. Some of you may or may not have seen him all over the Miami dancing and all over to all parts of Florida, battling, training, holding it up, and representing for the Krump scene. We're going to dive deeper into that, though, in this first interview. Welcome,
Definitely.
Sikaida.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yay. You were saying this is your first?
Yeah, this is my first podcast.
Hey,
yeah, ever. Yeah.
We have to applaud for ourselves. We don't have sound effects
Nah,
yet.
definitely. I'll keep applauding.
We just stay like this the whole podcast. Hey, you gotta hype yourself up, you know?
Nah, definitely.
Well, how do you feel?
I'm good. I'm a little nervous, but I'm good. I'm chilling.
It's all chilling. The good thing is we know each other already.
Yeah.
We've been supporting each other for a long time, so it's all fam here.
That is true.
You can relax, if anything. Yeah. Before we started, we went deep breath.
Okay.
There's water here, you know. Well, we're going to dive right into it because I want everyone to, get to know a little bit about your story and your style. Mm-hmm. How do you describe your style versus how other people would describe it?
That's a good question. Well, I would describe my style as more of a hybrid style, mainly because my personal style, I don't really stick with mainly one foundation. Usually when I'm out battling, I do choose a foundation. So within my personal style, it's Krump and animation.
Ooh,
so I try to incorporate those two and, with the background of taking contemporary classes from when I went to college as well. Those little techniques I incorporate as well to make that my personal style. But as far as going out to battle, when it comes to picking foundation, I'll stick with Krump because that is one of my solid foundation out of those elements and styles that I described.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah,
and I ask it that way because there's what normally people would think Krump is, and then there's how you portray Krump or what it means to you. So I think it's important for the dancer to be able to describe their style and how they go into it.
Definitely, yeah.
I want to keep diving into this conversation. As far as your foundation goes and your training, what other styles make up your style, and how does your training work? Like, who do you train with? How did you get to this style?
So that's a story, but so when it comes to training, I really majority of the time train by myself, because it's always been like that from the beginning. I've been dancing since I was around 6 or 7, so it's always been something that I kept with me by myself. Never was wanting to share with anybody else. Not until I started taking it professional, like around, I'd say when I was 16 or 17, that's when I started, telling my friends that, hey, I dance. I started making little videos and posting them. But as far as just training alone, it was always just me. Around the time, there was really nobody that would dancing like the way I would be dancing that would want to train. So I had to just keep it to myself. I'll be in my room up till like 2, 3 a.m. playing music, trying to figure out my own body, my own movement, what's comfortable, what's not comfortable, trying to understand how I move. And then I try to train almost every day because I have this philosophy where I believe every day our mind, like we imagine new stuff every day. So I could create one thing today and tomorrow I could create something way better, which is why majority of the time too, when I train, like I would post some of my training clips, and I don't really care what I post because I know the next day or the following day after that is going to be so much better than what I post or whatever.
I love that.
Being 1% better every day.
Yeah, and I love the mindset of the continuous evolution.
Yeah, because
and the fact that you're open about it, like that's what goes down.
Yeah, it's real. It's everyday life too. They say that art imitates life. So we have to. Me trying to be 1% better in everything that I do. I try to incorporate that with my dance as well. So that's why, like, with me, it feels like my fuel for training for dance, it will never last. Like, it's always gonna last. I mean.
Endless.
Like it's endless. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's infinite.
I like that quote. Write it down, guys. What is it? Art
Imitates
life.
Yeah.
Yo, we need to put that somewhere. It needs to be attached to this episode somewhere. Art imitates life. It's so true. I say that because on a personal note too, I've been seeing, now that I've been hosting different battles and being all over the South Florida scene in that way, getting closer with dancers and kind of understanding how you guys tap into what you do. I've been noticing that's a common conversation in the scene where people's styles evolve based on, like, let's say, for example, Marley Hightower mentioned this in a post recently where it was like, I used to think that I could only dance great if it was fueled by like darkness or sadness or whatever. And then now she's tapping into all of that is coming from happiness and like just living great life. And listening to what you just said, art imitates life, that says a lot about the life behind somebody and like what you're seeing in the moment. So thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that.
no problem. I mean, like, if you really think about it, like, dance is, I would say it's one of the purest art form. You know, it's one thing that you could physically only see unless it's recorded.
That's
You
true.
know, you either have to be there or hopefully somebody has it taped or something. You know,
We're like,
because it
hopefully.
is, yeah, because it is an art form and it's the
Yeah.
purest one. It's the rawest one as well. You know,
And you're never gonna see the same thing.
you're
twice.
not gonna see the same
Even
thing
if
twice.
it's choreographed, practice.
The emotions
never-
will be different.
Yeah.
Everything will be different. You know.
Yo, we're getting deep. We're getting deep right now.
Everybody buckle up.
So I want to take it back to something you mentioned earlier. We were talking a little bit about your journey, but I want to dive deeper into that, especially for the people that are getting to know you for the first time today. Maybe take us back to the beginning. Tell us a little bit about your dance background. How did you get into dance?
Okay, so I would say, well, starting with my inspirations, Michael Jackson would be one of them.
Nice.
Definitely at a young age. I would see the music videos like Beat It, Thriller all the time on replay, and I would like try to learn it just by watching it, you know. And then getting older, like seeing artists like music artists like Chris Brown, Usher, you know, them knowing how to dance, and it's like, okay, like this is really cool, you know. So seeing that is like, you know, knowing that there's nobody around me that dance, is just me, so I'm just there practicing, trying to learn, trying to get better, and then getting in different inspirations. You know, Lead Twins is one of my inspirations as well.
That's a good one.
I had started. It's crazy. My older brother introduced me to them like on YouTube. Like one time, he literally randomly called me. He said, "Hey, I need you to come look at these guys on YouTube." And then I watched like one of their battles, and ever since then, I've been like a huge fan of them.
Yeah.
You know, so that, and then just like just seeing how much I've been progressively just understanding and knowing, you know, that there's so much out there, because I would say I was very closed-minded, you know, because I was very indoors all the time. I never really went out and explore. I never knew what a community was, like a dance community, you know, literally. So I would literally just come home from school, be at home, have headphones in my ear, whatever music plays, I would dance, you know, look at myself in the mirror. And it wasn't until recently that I started, you know, sharing with my friends.
How recently?
I would say like literally, well, recent to me was like my junior year of high school, which probably was like 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
You know, that was when I started, you know, started putting it out there. That's why I first did my first talent show or spring concert in high school, you know. It's very nerve-wracking, scary, you know, because it's like, you know, one of those, you ever have like those moments or those friends where they have this special talent that you would not expect them to have, you know? So it was kind of like one of those moments, because like I would be that chill person in school, you know, out in public, very quiet, just nonchalant, but I know how to move. Like I know how to dance,
All
you know?
of a sudden it's like, boom, boom,
like
boom.
I know how to dance, and, you know, so yeah.
So, and then going into what you said, you got more into it the last 5-6 years. When was the moment that you realized, like, this is something I want to start taking seriously? Because you'll be battling, like, every single battle, you're there. So when did that mindset shift happen?
So I'll say definitely around COVID time, for sure, because the moment when we got into the pandemic and we were shut down, that was actually when that was around the time when I first started getting into a community, into a scene. That's when I started meeting a lot of Florida dancers that are up north and down south. And the moment where I pulled up to like 2 sessions and then boom, we're on lockdown. You know, so in my head, I was like, maybe this isn't for me because I've tried so much, you know, like try to take workshops. Like when Let Twins came down in Miami, I would like try to take that workshop, you know. I try to do so much, and then I had a pivot moment where I was like, you know, dance is really what I have. That's one thing that I know I've been doing for so long. It's one thing that I'm good at, you know, so I didn't want to just let that go, you know, and especially around the time where we couldn't really go outside anymore, and you know, it was just it was a tough time.
Yeah,
it was a very tough time.
I definitely think you're not the only person that started really tapping into their dancing, like with themselves, and evolving it through COVID. Because I remember there used to be a lot of like outdoor sessions and things like people just wanted to throw down, be together, be outside of the house.
But yeah, like that time was hard because it was like I wanted to go outside and dance, you know, especially now that especially now that I knew that there was a community out there. Like there's people out there in this world that could dance just like me, you know. So I wanted to be involved in that, but COVID took all of that away. So I was like, you know what? I probably don't want to dance anymore. But once I took like a little break and I realized that I was not happy. Like I would be chilling and then, you know, music would be in my head and I'll just be, you know.
Yeah, that's the artist
in
vibing,
you know.
Like you can't, that doesn't go away.
I can't divorce it.
Yeah, like I've taken a break from doing music and doing dance already several times throughout my life, and I always go back. Like age, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
How I feel, even if I break, it doesn't matter.
Like, it's like it's engraved in you.
Yeah,
it's engraved in you. You know.
Yeah, like every time I'm driving, I'd be like, let me see if I remember the pop.
Just like what you just said. Just like what you just said. Like it calls you. You know. So I believe like, you know, dance is my calling. You know, because even when I did try to put the phone down and to leave it alone, it kept on calling me. Like I would have moments where it kept calling me. You know. So
that's fire.
Once, you know, everything started opening back up, and I would say the time I had alone, like actually be alone mentally, you know, because there was no more socializing in public, you know. So once that was over with, I was like, all right, I have to try and take off of this because I know how I feel without it, and I know this was what meant for me. I've been doing this for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. Same.
As long as I can remember.
Literally. We just keep leveling up, like you said in the beginning.
1% better.
You gotta look at all the cameras so all the people get love. Y'all get love, y'all get love, y'all get love. All right, so diving deeper into the training and the mindset. One is who do you train with and how is that environment like? Paint the picture for us.
Okay, so if I'm training, because like I said, I'm majority trained by myself. I'll say 85, 90% of the time I am by myself training.
Okay.
So it literally is just me in a room, no matter what room it is. I have my headphones on because for some reason, like, I don't want to use the speaker unless I'm out in public. I have a thing with just using headphones.
I think it helps you focus,
it helps me lock in. And I'm just either experimenting new move that I've like mentally thought of, right? Because there's moments where, say, if I'm driving, I would mentally be picturing of a move or a feeling, and I'll try to like bring it to life. So that would be that. And if I'm training with anybody, and you know, I don't mind training with anybody at all. Like anybody's willing to train.
You're like everyone watching, hit me up.
Like y'all could slide and train with me.
Y'all behind me, let's train.
But like that, you know, I try to make it for the people that have trained with me before, they know like I try to make it a vibe, make it comfortable, you know, like friendly as well.
Yeah.
And obviously having the idea of expecting the unexpected, you know.
Nice.
And that's it. Just try to make it fun.
So when you do train with, what kind of people do you train with? How
Um,
do you learn from the, like, is it like they're teaching you or you're experimenting together, like a sharing? How does it?
it's more about like it's kind of like a little bit of everything, you know. So I mostly the people that I mostly do train with are like the people really close to me, my fam, like Rogue, Slim, you know, TJ Tress, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When I train with them, we'll either actually have like a you know topics of what we want to work on, and then we try to make
Nice.
like drills or like little fun little games or activities to
Mm-hmm.
help us train with that,
That's
or we're
dope.
literally just playing music and we're just experimenting, just moving alone without having an idea of what you're trying to
Letting
accomplish.
your body
Just
go
letting your
through.
body
Yeah.
just letting your body move, you know, because I feel like um because that's one thing I do a lot as well when I train. I focus on one thing, and then for the next hour, 2 hour, I'm like letting my body move because
Nice.
I think that when you're like having an idea of something you want to train on, you're only limiting yourself to that specific thing that you're working on.
Some solid knowledge right
So
there. Write that down. And we have to put the notes for everyone. The
so like
first note is a quote. The second one is that one.
so like for me, like for example, if I'm like when it comes to Krump, when I'm training my arm swings or whatever, right? I would drill my arm swing, how I want my arm swing to look, how I want everyone to feel when they see me throw this specific arm swing. And that could go on for like about 30 minutes to an hour. But then the remaining of the time, I'm just letting my body move. Now, the fact that I drilled that in, I'm just letting it move to see how my body now will incorporate that new material into like just freestyling.
Fire. Wow. I like asking these systematic questions because personally I think this type of information can apply, like your process can apply to anyone that's a creative, right? So like for example, when you mentioned the whole being in the car, picturing the movement, I do that with music or just with concepts. Like I'll be listening to a song and all of a sudden lyrics come in for another and I'm like, quick, record it. And then you forget like immediately after. And then also I like what you mentioned about we have games or little things like that. It's like drills in a way, but you establish those in your own way with your fam, you know. So I think that could inspire other people to go about their training in a different way too.
Definitely.
That's why I'm like taking notes.
I mean, it's one thing that I know that definitely helped me, you know, because
Yeah.
like for me, I'm especially with dance, I'm very active. Like that's why like if you look at any of my videos, I'm very like explosive and energy is very high. Like I'm just very active. So even when it comes to training, like I want it to be very amusing, you know, very active and
Yeah.
fun. You know, nothing that would kill the spirit.
For sure. On that note, when you're dancing, right? You're saying you're active, your energy. What are you thinking about when you're dancing? I'm diving deep. I'm like, I want to know how your brain works.
Honestly, nothing. During the moment, nothing.
It just
During the
goes
moment,
black.
it's black.
Wow.
I do prep before I dance. I would always tell myself, you know, win or lose, whatever happens, as long as you remember what you did, and as long as everyone in the room can remember what you did. You know, wanting to be, you know, just to be remembered. So once I cloak myself up with that idea, I walk in, dance floor, and then once the music is on, my body just moves.
Yeah, it takes over. Wow.
But I do like it moves. But then like say if it's a special competition that I really need to win, then I have to strategize. Literally, like even during the battle, if my opponent is going, I have to strategize. And then once it's time for me to go, I flip the switch, and
Yes.
that's it.
Yeah, I could relate to that 100%. When I do shows, like performing music, I always have to think about the beginning and the end, right? Because those are the moments you kind of need to set the tone, I'd say, like before going into it. And then for me, it's black.
In the middle, yeah.
Except for moments where I'm literally connecting with people, where if it's a dancer or an audience member, I'm intentionally making that connection. And then at the end, because I'm kind of trying to reel all that energy back in, like, all right, we're done now. Breathe.
That is true. Yeah, that's the perfect way of explaining it. Literally, like I'll remember the beginning and the end, but during the whole middle,
It's like,
yeah.
I don't know
I
what
don't remember
happened.
what happened.
The words came out, the body moved, the sweat.
Yeah, it's very unexpected.
Thankfully, I remembered to breathe. But I don't know how it happened. It's a miracle. Yeah, interesting that you say that, because I think about these things like, am I the only one that goes?
No, you see, like
this is normal. Apparently, artists, like, I guess that's how it works when you're a performance artist. I guess
that's what connects us all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I used
What
to
are we
think I
tapping
really
into
used, I
when we
really
go
used to think
black?
I was the only one thinking like that for real. Like that is crazy.
Like, literally, this is what I think. When we go black, where are we? In the Matrix. Like, I want to
Like
know.
you're lost. Like you're
there
lost.
has to be
like
some explanation.
it's like you're not even aware of it.
No, I
You're
don't
not
know.
aware
My
of
body
it.
just like,
You're just in it. You're not aware of it. The only thing you're aware of is the feeling.
Yeah, 100%.
That's it. That's the only thing as a dancer
Yes.
that I'm aware of the feeling. But
Wow.
besides that, it's blank.
Wow. That's amazing. So you are not alone. We're right there with you. Okay. So just a couple random questions.
Ooh.
These are more purpose-driven questions.
Ooh.
You're like, oh, let me warm up the seat. Okay, so as an artist or a creative, whatever you describe yourself as, what kind of mark do you want to leave in the world?
So that gets personal too, because I'm a Haitian descendant. So living in a Caribbean household, a lot of people can compare, like they want you to go to school just to get standard level of that high standard education to where you could get paid. But wanting to be an artist is hard. And I have siblings.
Say that again.
Wanting
to be an artist.
Like wanting to be an artist is hard. Like it's hard. So I have 5 siblings. So like me myself, I want to be able to break that ideology of having to go to school just to be that, when I could find another route to still be that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So like with me, this career that I'm doing, dance, is very faith driven as well.
Nice.
Like,
wow.
My faith, it has to be high, because if I don't believe in myself, knowing that nobody is gonna believe in me, you don't I'm not gonna expect everybody to believe in me. I have to make sure that I believe in myself.
Yeah.
Because it's all gonna be on me. So once I make it where I want to make it, that is where I'm traveling around the world, learning and understanding different cultures of dance and people. Being able to also share, my path and journey as a dancer and how I'm able to do all of this, because like me, I'm inspired by all the dancers that are able to travel, to be able to share their craft and their light, their art, their artistry, so to be able to do that and telling my siblings, I'm gonna make this happen. I gotta make this happen.
Nice.
I gotta make this happen. It's not only gonna break that ideology that's in their mind or in my parents' mind, that literally I can make what I want possible. I have to envision it and then act on it. So that's the personal side, and also, the public side, the worldly side. I definitely want to be known as one great artist. I don't care to be like the very, very tippity top, but I want to be as one of the greats. I want to be known as one of the greats.
Nice.
There's a lot of learning.
The Hall of the Greats.
The Hall of the Greats. There's a lot of learning. I know.
We need to make a Hall of the. Write that down.
Hall of Greats. Hall of Greats.
No, for real.
No, that's a good idea. No,
for real.
But like, definitely, like, once I want to be known as one of the greats. There's so much learning that I know I have to dive into. So much I want to see. So much I want to just digest.
That's fire. Thank you for that. Yo, we got deep in just a matter of a few minutes. That's right. I don't have a watch, but I know it's been a few minutes.
You can feel it too. Everybody's just like,
Tapped into the conversation. All right, we're almost wrapping up. I have 2 more questions. One is, it is called Miami Dance Movement, right? So the goal is to start highlighting the Miami dance community, but eventually we'll move through South Florida because there's only a few of us. But with taking into consideration the South Florida dance scene, also the Miami dance scene, the community, the movement that's happening, that you are a huge part of, by the way. You need to know this. You're like, yes.
I'm like, thank you. Yeah, because like, mind you, it's always I was always by
Sometimes you
myself.
don't know
Yeah.
until somebody tells you. So I always want to like be straight up. So what is something that you want to see happen in our community?
I definitely want to see like. That's a good question, because I know one of my goals is to be able to experience dance on the other side in Europe, because I see the events that are thrown up there. I definitely would love to see like an event just as big happen down here.
Over here. Yeah,
just happen down here. There's a qualifier for Fusion Concept. That's one of the events, huge events that happen in Europe. They're hosting a qualifier in Atlanta actually this Saturday. And just imagine the amount of dancers that are going to pull up. And I'm talking about from different states because of how big that event is. So I definitely want to witness a huge event.
Are you
And
going?
I know.
Are you going?
Oh, I'm still thinking about it.
I want to witness that event
like
before I die, like bucket list.
Like definitely. Like imagine the amount of we're pulling. That's like a magnet of like just pulling dancers from different states, countries alone just to qualify. So if I want to witness that here. Definitely.
Same.
And I know one event undefeated for sure is like on its rise.
One event undefeated.
Undefeated for sure. I know
Which I happen to be a part of.
on its rise. It's on its rise. It's on its rise up there for real.
We're trying.
It's on its rise up there
we're
for
trying.
real.
I think, you know what it is, though? I'm happy you said that, just because, honestly, that's what you feel. But I agree with you, and I think that's what everyone wants. Like, because the talent out here in the U.S. is moving, right? And I think it's time for something, to have a platform to be highlighted in the same way that Europe and Asia and those countries, like, they have the privilege of having that. Not just one. Like, there's a bunch of amazing events there. And people here dream of being a part of them. So, like, why can't we be to a level where they dream of being a part of this?
That is
you
true,
know? And then it's all one thing. Yeah, thank you.
I definitely see it coming, though. You know, as long as we all, like...
We out here.
Yeah, as long as we out here and we're, like, involved together, you know, we all know that this is what we would want, you know?
Yes.
So if we, like, could definitely make that happen, you know, it's going to happen.
Yes. So we have time for one final message. Is there something that you want to share with everyone watching?
Definitely stay true to yourself. Definitely keep your faith to 100 with whatever you're doing. And always believe in yourself, because there are going to be trials in your life or journey that I've already been through, and I know there's going to be more coming, where you're going to feel like you're by yourself. But as long as you keep that light in you infinitely blazing, that fire inside of you infinitely blazing, you're going to be straight. You're going to be good. That's one thing. That's one thing that's been helping me, just keeping sure that the light inside of me does not dim out. Keeping that faith. That faith is fueling the light.
For sure. Thank you.
No
I'm
problem.
like, thank you for
having
being
me
here. That was amazing, an amazing interview. Thank you all for watching. My name is Sonja La Máquina, Sikaida en la casa, and this is Miami Dance Movement. That's a wrap.
Sure.